Thank you for tuning in to another DeMatha podcast. I am Herb Lacy, a junior, and here I am with
Ryan Smolen, Jr.
Nile Hopes, a sophomore.
Anthony Perry, senior.
So since the last time we've seen you guys, a lot of things have happened. We've had hockey season. We just won the WCAC. With that, we'll get into that a little bit. We have basketball season. We'll have Ant to talk about that. NHS inductions, other such things, but we might as well get into hockey first. I know you were there, Ryan, so tell us about that.
Yeah, so Friday night, I was there. WCAC championship, once again, win it. That's our fourth in a row. Good game against Gonzaga. Came out on top, played well, and it was just good to get another one. I know that they had a lot of pressure on them because obviously when you have a winning streak, you want to keep it going. So it was a good win, and strong finish to the season for them. Unfortunately, after that, they did have the MAPHL playoffs, and they faced MSJ, which I was at that game as well. Ended up being 5-1. We lost, but score didn't really tell the actual game. It was a lot closer than that until about the last couple minutes. It was unfortunate to lose there, but hockey should definitely be proud of the season they had.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, coming from a sport, I play lacrosse. I know we're hungry. We're coming back, and we really want a WCAC. I know Ant's saying the same thing. He was on varsity last year. They didn't get to do it. You're saying the same thing, Ryan. You played last year, and you were able to see baseball, WCAC, and just we're all hungry for it. In hockey, they've been consistent since I've been here with the WCAC championship, so they should definitely be a proud team. Obviously, they didn't want to lose in that playoff game, but I think it's good all around.
Yeah, because I'm a senior. I'm not trying to go out and not have a ring. So, we just motivated. All our seniors, we just motivated so we can just get a ring this year.
Well, speaking of rings, Ant,
Yeah.
playoffs starting this Saturday. Facing off O'Connell, how do you feel about it?
We just going to take it one game at a time, you know. We got to get them out of the way and then just take baby steps so we can get our feet under the rug, you know. Shake out everything. And just try to get the WCAC championship.
I remember being there. I worked the senior game, the last game of the regular season. And I tell you, the crowd was live. It was live. Like, everyone was there supporting the seniors. And you had a big game. What was going through your mind when you're thinking this is my last regular season high school basketball game?
I knew going in I was going to, play more minutes than I usually play. So I just got to perform, and I did. So, I just played my game, played as a team. We played as a team, you know. And it was real fun playing in front of all my family members and stuff. Yeah.
Jerome.
Yeah, Big Bone Jerome. Even the manager, he played and all that. He got his tray on. And it was a fun night.
It was just good to see so many DeMatha people just come together and collect and just support each other like that. You know, you don't really see that very often. Manager playing on senior night hits a step back three. What a way to go out.
Yeah, it was definitely a very cool story. Jerome, been a manager for a while, always been very loyal to the team, so for him to get a chance to play, I'm sure that meant a lot to him and his family. For him to score, I believe it was the first points of the game too, wasn't it? Step back. It was pretty cool.
Now, I know you played JV. You played freshman. You played JV basketball. Seeing the way that we've been playing as a varsity team since you've been here, how does that make you feel like over this past JV season?
It's actually been very impressive watching the varsity guys play because it's very easy to learn from them and watch the fast-paced game at a higher level than me. And, you see the players and you can, think to yourself, one day they were just like you, but they worked to get to where they are right now.
Yeah, I was just like you. I was in your footsteps. I was on freshman JV. In the summertime trying out for varsity, I just was working. I worked out every day, and I was just motivated to make the team.
Mm-hmm.
So you should do the same, try to make varsity next year.
So, although our winter sports are coming to a close, it opens up a new chapter to the school year, to sports, everything like that. So, Herb, you're a lacrosse player. I know you guys had your first day of practice, tryouts yesterday. How'd that go? How's it looking?
It's looking really good. This is my first year in varsity, so I'm not going to be able to speak on what happened last year. But I think that this year we do have a team that can win the WCAC, shadow of a doubt. We have a defense that's coming back. Last year they were really young, and so now with that year of varsity experience under their belt, they know what's going on. They're flying around. It's insane. I'm excited to see what's going on this season. Our offense, it's well-tuned machine. We got a new defensive coordinator, though. He's trying to push us to new limits. When I tell you we ran like no one's business yesterday, we ran. So I'm hoping that means something later in the season. Ryan, it's not too much different for you. Yesterday, you guys had your first day of baseball.
Yeah,
How'd that go?
First day of baseball, so I mean it's a lot different right now. New coach, everyone. I mean, although we've been working with him this whole year, just being out there on the field with him. I mean, we've been out there in the field in the fall, but now it's time to actually turn it up. So it's been different. We had a lot. I mean, we should have a very good year this year. I know all of us are putting our heads together, hoping to come out with a ring. I know the senior class really wants to get that WCAC championship. We do too, so we're going to do everything we can to get it. We've got a lot of pieces to help us. We had 3 transfers in my class this year. Jaden Borza, Hunter King, both from Arundel. Jaden's going to be a good middle infielder for us. Hunter, great left-handed pitcher. Coleman Calabrese, coming from Spalding, JMU commit. I mean, he's very good as well. And just with the senior class, that class is loaded. We just had 2 more commits. James Holliday, Barton College, and Donovan Teal to USC Aiken. So now that class has 6 commits, the senior class, and all going to very good programs. So I know we definitely are all getting excited here, and we know that we're going to have what it takes. So we just have to keep working hard, push for that WCAC championship, get St. John's off the throne. I mean, their time is up. So it's our turn. It's what we're hoping for, and we're going to work for it. We actually leave for Florida in 2 weeks, so that we go down to Florida March 5th through the 9th, and that'll be our first 4 games are all in Florida, so it'll be interesting down there. We're going to hope to do everything we can, come out on top after that first road trip.
You went on the trip last year. Where did you guys go for baseball? And if you guys, I don't remember exactly what happened, but if winning or losing, did that affect the way you guys played for the rest of the season?
Yeah, so last year we went to Sanford, Florida.
Okay.
So right past, a little further down than Orlando. We didn't do too hot down there. We went 0-4. But so I was actually on JV, but I did get called up for spring trip. And so after spring trip, I went back to JV, but I know that did light a spark in the varsity team. As soon as they came back, they started playing a lot better and got their season turned around. And then I did get the chance to go back up for playoffs, which unfortunately we came up a little short. But I know that just us coming up short that many times is just lighting a fire behind us and just gives us every more reason to make sure we get a ring this year.
I definitely think that's great, and I definitely think I can say the same for my sport. I know that we have seniors that aren't going to want to go out without a ring, and the same thing that Ant was just saying about basketball, not wanting to go out without a ring, like to keep that legacy going on, because the sports that we play, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, we have legacies of winning, and you just want to continue to that and just be a part of the DeMatha legacy that kept the DeMatha tradition of just winning and being excellent. And so I do understand that. Switch to something different. The NBA season, Victor Oladipo just came back. He seems like he's already making somewhat of a difference on the Pacers. I like the way they built their team. They even without Victor Oladipo, they've been playing really well. So to see an all-star come back, DeMatha grad, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of history of DeMatha sports, Victor Oladipo, guy that definitely made some history here. I remember his first game back, he hit a three-pointer with a couple seconds left to send them into overtime. I mean, he was making an impact immediately. I know it's been a long-awaited journey for him. He was eager to get back. I'm sure the Pacers are very happy about having him back, that's for sure. And talking about Victor Oladipo and stuff, Coach Jones, does he ever, bring up these players when you guys are working out and stuff, make sure that you guys are, continuing, their legacy in a way or model your game after them?
I mean, I don't necessarily say model our game, but, I have the same mindset of, work as hard as, you see all these NBA players, they master the fundamentals first, and, so we just, we go off of that. We go off of, hard work ethic. So, we just have consistent mindset, just like the NBA players that we look up to.
Yeah,
So
knowing you wanna stay your own player, so but you can always look at how their mindset is, because they're in the NBA and they clearly worked hard to get there, and it's just use their mindset to get to where you want to be.
So knowing that you two play basketball and seeing that Coach Jones has produced these NBA players like Markelle Fultz and Victor Oladipo, knowing that you're playing for a coach who's that great and that prestigious, does that make you want to even work even harder so that you continue his legacy?
Yeah.
I mean, of course. I mean, we love the game. I mean, I know I love the game. So, I would want to play every day, I wouldn't want to take a day off, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, speaking of work ethic, Markelle Fultz, he's a guy we've definitely seen turn himself around. A lot of people were doubting him after Philly, and he was hurt, and first season with the Magic this year, and he's been making his own path, showing why he was a #1 overall pick in the NBA. I mean, he's leading the Magic. They're playing well right now. They're still holding the playoff spot, so hopefully he can continue to play his game and lead them into the playoffs. I know they'll be very happy about that. I mean, he was a guy that Philadelphia doubted, and I think, in my opinion, has proved the doubters pretty wrong. But
I think they'd be different without him if they had just let him grow and just let him take his first rookie season off, just let him take it off and just continue to get healthy and just work with him along the process, because they drafted him because they saw the potential for a reason, and now they lack the very thing that he can provide, which is a guard. And Ben Simmons, even though he plays the guard position, he likes the post, and that doesn't really work in the NBA these days.
I'm sure they miss him.
I'm sure they do,
yeah, because gave up on a talent where I know the DeMatha community never did. Everyone was behind him. They knew what he was capable of, and they knew he was going to work as hard as anybody else to make sure he was getting back on track. So I'm definitely happy to see him doing so well, and hope he can continue to do that.
You gotta wish nothing for the best for him.
It's like another hard work story of freshman and JV to varsity, because he got moved up to varsity at the end of his 10th grade year, and he was a one and done, and there was nothing you would expect because he came here unrecruited, trying out for freshman, and he worked as hard as he could to take that path, and look at him now.
And that's something I think about DeMatha in general, is just a lot of kids, when they get put on freshman JV, they always put their heads down, but it's like we're a school that has such a rich sports history that, even if you're on JV here, it doesn't mean that you probably would be on varsity at a different school, but I think it's different. I think that the mentality of student athletes here has to be patience. It takes patience here because there's a lot of talented players here. Speaking of talented players,
yeah,
Chase Young, football player here, now getting closer to the draft, projected to go 2nd overall to Washington Redskins, which I'm not complaining about as a Redskins fan.
I'm complaining about it.
I know he's working hard. I saw the other day he was with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, seeing Chase Young do that and him being projected to go to the Redskins, as an Eagles fan, I'm not too excited to see Chase Young.
I don't think Carson Wentz
on the
is
side of the football. I wouldn't be happy to see it. That's just another hard work story. We're just working hard as anyone else. He played under Coach Elijah Brooks, who now coaches at Maryland. Just goes to show, when you work hard at DeMatha, it just good things come from it. Even if you're not going to be a professional athlete in your sport, I say that sports has taught all of us things that I don't think anything else could have taught us, that perseverance, that teamwork that you're going to need in everyday life. I think DeMatha gives it to you, in the patience and knowing when it's your time, and when you are given that time, you have to shine. DeMatha gives all of that, because if you have to be the top dog if you think you're going to come in here as a freshman and just start on any sport here.
Yeah,
it's
unlikely.
Yeah, we've seen that from people like Ant. He does cross country and he plays basketball at the same time. That's not easy to balance, and that's just straight dedication.
Definitely a lot of dedicated players here. I mean, it's something that because a lot of people like to call us a sports school, but we all know that academically we get challenged just as much as anybody else too. So having to balance both of them, it takes a lot of dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I was saying, it gives us life skills that you just feel like you don't get anywhere else, because when you're coming home from practice, it's 6:37, DC traffic, we all understand that. Coming home from practice, we're just sitting there looking around like, wow, I have homework to do when I get home, and I have 3 quizzes and a test tomorrow.
Don't get me started with them Riken games coming back from there. But
oh, man.
But they give us the tools to go to academic support, and I'm pretty sure some other schools have it, but they don't do it the DeMatha way.
Yeah, it is challenging, but like you said, they give us everything they possibly can to make sure that we're putting ourselves on the right track.
I used to have a lot of work, but I know I'm a senior now. I rarely do homework at home now. I just do all my work in academic support, and I just get ahead any chance I get.
Herb talking about getting home from practice. You get home, it's 7:30, eat dinner, shower, do your homework, go to bed, wake up, and do the same thing the next day. It's just a never-ending cycle when you're in season, that's for sure.
Yeah, you guys are just in season, so you know, when you're doing fall training and stuff, and like when you guys were doing stuff in the fall before basketball season, it didn't really feel as bad because you know it's not that everyday grind. But the everyday grind, I kind of forgot about it. And yesterday brought me back to reality. Like, yo, I really have to do all this stuff again, all over again, just every day, even when I'm tired. You got to keep going on, keep pushing.
It's a never-ending cycle, but at the end of it, it always pays off. So, and we hope, you know, you coming down too. We hope you get your ring. Herb, we know we're going to have to work hard this season, but both programs are going to do what they can to get theirs as well.
No doubt about it.
So thank you guys for tuning in today, and that is the end of our DM Stags report.